8.4, for those of you familiar with the schedules who have used it before or participate in it, 8.4 basically lays out the ordering procedures of the schedules program. This is the part that agencies need to look at, COs need to look at when they're using the schedules program. Not part 15, not part 13. 8.4. Now, before November 2nd, this 8.45-5, used to say that for part 19, which is the part that deals with set-asides, small business set-asides, it used to say that 19 wasn't applicable at all. Now, as you can see, the words have been tweaked a little bit. Now it says that the mandatory nature of part 19 doesn't apply. And what this basically means is that where part 19 has language saying that all contract actions below the simplified acquisition threshold, the SAT, which today is $150,000, part 19 says that all orders or all contracts below the SAT has to be set aside, and all contract actions over the SAT has to be set aside when there's expectations that you have at least 2 capable and responsible small businesses. That's the part, the mandatory part of 19 that still doesn't apply to schedule orders. As you can see, paragraph A1 of this section says COs may, at their discretion, set aside orders and BPAs. Now, the term discretion means that it is up to the CO to decide using sound business judgment and taking into account the government's socioeconomic policy objectives and goals, amongst whatever other factors might be applicable to that particular requirement and to that ordering agency, whether or not it is in the best interest of the taxpayer to set aside that order or that BPA for small business. Now, there's also another paragraph that was added to 8.45-5, and that's paragraph A2 that you see on the screen now. It's important to note that while you can now set aside orders for small businesses, agencies still have to follow the ordering procedures of 8.4. Now, what does that mean? It means that if your requirement is an order or a BPA is an order that doesn't have a statement of work, you must follow what 8.405-1 says. If your order has a statement of work, you must follow what 8.405-2 says. If you're setting aside a BPA, you have to follow the BPA establishment procedures in 8.405-3. In all these cases, when your requirement, your order or your BPA is over the SAT, in accordance with all 3 ordering procedures that are listed here, you have to post your RFQ to eBuy so that all eligible schedule holders have the opportunity to participate. Or if you don't want to post, or if you choose not to post your RFQ to eBuy, you have to make sure that the RFQ is sent to enough schedule holders so that the CO gets back at least 3 quotes. Now, those of you familiar with using the schedules know that these are the ordering procedures for schedules. At least it has been since May of this year. Things were, the competition requirements changed a little bit earlier this year. The only change with this new set-aside authority is that your fair opportunity notice now goes to those vendors eligible and not all vendors awarded the SINs. So before, if you had a schedule order over the SAT, you had to make sure you posted it on eBuy so that every schedule vendor that was awarded the schedule you were looking at and the SIN, the special item number or numbers that you were looking at, could see your RFQ and could participate. If today, now you want to set aside your order, only those schedule holders that are eligible. So if you're doing a small business set-aside, only the small business schedule holders who are awarded the schedule and the SINs that your requirement covers will be able to, or should be able to see it and have a chance to respond to your RFQ. Now, another requirement to setting aside orders and BPAs, schedule orders and BPAs, is that your requirement must meet the program eligibility requirements identified in Part 19. What this boils down to is that you can't just set aside any requirement for certain small business programs. For example, there are specific instances when you can do a set-aside under the Women-Owned Small Business Program, or when you can set aside an order under the 8.8 program. And we're going to go into detail on this topic a little bit when we get to the FAQs. But that's essentially what that last line in paragraph A2 means. Now, one thing to note, when you are doing a set-aside, when you're setting aside an order or BPA under schedules, you are doing so under the authority and the ordering procedures of 8.4. The only time FAR Part 19 comes in is when you're trying to determine whether your requirement is eligible to be set aside under one of the small business programs.